Are you dreaming of the lifestyle that comes with successful trading? Well, it's time to make it a reality. Welcome to the Trading Ascension podcast, where you can discover methods to improve your trading results by focusing on your trading psychology. I'm Jason E., your guide on this path to trading improvement, self-discovery, and self-mastery. Together, we'll explore the personal and spiritual growth journey of profitable day trading. Prepare to unlock the secrets of the trader's mind and align your inner self with your personal success. Listen to this episode if you want to ascend to new levels of trading excellence and personal development. This is Trading Ascension, supporting your journey to mastering trading psychology and personal growth for consistent profits. Let's elevate your trading and your consciousness starting now. In today's episode, we'll explore some key factors that propelled my trading results to surpass my monthly corporate income. And that's in a field where I have over a decade, almost a decade and a half of experience. And I'm closing out the 4th year of my trading journey. I want to state that day trading isn't just about guru strategies. It's a profound journey of personal metamorphosis, in which the reshaping of an aspiring trader's reality occurs through consistent actions and mental conditioning. Now, of course, you know that. That's why you hear. That's why you would, tune in to this type of podcast. But today I want to share 3 key things that I know will move you along that path towards consistent results. You know the question, what came first, the chicken or the egg? It actually dawned on me this week that this question leads to an important understanding for day traders. I was doing my little weekly nerd thing, contemplating this, and I said, oh man, I have to share this with the community. This age-old question that was pondered by Aristotle in the 4th century perfectly illustrates a fascinating cycle in day trading. Before we go deep, hens lay eggs, right? I'm going to just say chicken for the purpose of simplifying today's wisdom. All right, let's get that out the way. Don't want any emails about that. But stick around, my friends. Today's episode is going to impact you greatly and help you reach your next level, right? By starting with your next level of understanding. If you feel stuck, maybe on a roller coaster of good and bad results, or even worse, the emotional roller coaster of feeling good and bad based on trading results, you have to listen to this specific episode. Today, I'll help you address stagnation in your trading business and a few other things as well. Let me break it down. This is how the cycle of the chicken egg question is related to what we do. Just as a chicken or egg dilemma puzzled philosophers, the question of what defines a great trader presents a similar paradox. Does the trader become great because of their results, or do the results come from an already great trader? Now, it's not about what's the right answer, right? Although you may have a strong opinion on it. The fact is, it's possible to lean on the opposite side of your take, right? There are people on both sides of this understanding. And that just means that we should dive into and explore both sides with the same microscope. So I'll say, based on my research in this realm, one side is focused on a lot less. But it's kind of like the market, right? For every buyer, there's a seller. So we have to have some balance in this area. And just as a chicken comes from an egg, but an egg is laid by a chicken, a successful day trader emerges from consistent results, yet these results stem from the effective trading approach of a consistent day trader. So this creates a fascinating cycle of cause and effect in the trading world. The egg, right, which is results, and impressive trading results are like eggs in the analogy. They're tangible, measurable, often what makes us say, okay, that person knows what they're doing. They have the results to prove it. They have the data. And then the chicken, the trader themselves, with their skills, mindset, and approach, represent the chicken, the source of those results. Now, there's a continuous cycle here, because as a trader produces good results, they gain confidence, they refine parts of their trading system, potentially leading to feeling, more like a great trader and experiencing even better outcomes, much like how a chicken lays more eggs, perpetuating the cycle. So the analogy highlights the symbiotic relationship between a trader's actions and their results. Great traders aren't born overnight. They're, in my opinion, forged through a process of learning, adapting, and consistently applying effective strategies. And all of this is paired with mental and emotional conditioning. Similarly, exceptional results don't materialize out of thin air. They're the product of a trader's mindset that yields discipline and top-notch decision making. So ultimately, both the chicken, the trader, and the egg, the results and data, are crucial components of trading success. They continuously influence and reinforce each other, creating this virtuous cycle of improvement and achievement that plays out in this dynamic world of day trading. Both sides of, what came first can be argued. However, the key lies in balancing both perspectives. Many focus solely on actions and results, expecting to lay eggs without embodying the qualities of a chicken, right? Which is being a successful day trader in actions and approaches. Many of us traders say things like, how can I get the results I want? Basically, how can I lay eggs? Few ask, how can I become a chicken that just naturally produces eggs? How can I embody being a great trader? And this can be a very empowering question because it deals with our state of being, which we've talked about before. When I was a new trader, I thought about how, athletes approach improvement. And I would consistently ask myself, how could I be a great trader? And the key word is be. Be as in conscious presence, defined as actively occupying a mental state in the present moment. So let's follow that path. To be a successful day trader, we need to feel and act from a certain mental dimension to achieve desired results. There's action paired with belief. The dimension is simple, right? It's the created space and time that you dwell when you are a successful day trader, right? Because that's the space you'll be in when you are a successful day trader. And there's nothing stopping us from closing that gap today, right now. I believe if one has the mental fortitude, focus, and desire, that they can and they will take actions that close the gap between them now and the successful trader version of them. It's about being the chicken to lay the eggs, because that's what they naturally do. Successful traders naturally have successful results. So I've identified 3 transformational pillars to help you cultivate the state of being a successful trader. And these actions have for me, and for you, if implemented, will help you transform your results and yourself into that of a successful trader. And I created these for myself by spending time considering who was I when I was successful. And I suggest that you do this as well. By placing our mind into a situation, we allow our mind to think from that situation. And this is the epitome of human mental power. Listen, if you can place your mind in a mental situation, you can think from that situation and create a further vision into the oncoming events. So there's a big difference between thinking of a situation and thinking from a situation. I'm sure many traders daydream, and from an outside perspective, they look at themselves, they see themselves from the outside, floating from the top of the room, or almost like they're watching TV. And they see themselves and they're looking at themselves, and they're wondering why they're not getting the results that they want from that mental practice. And the difference is perspective. And perspective changes perception, which can be empowering. For example, let's say I invite you to Aspen, right? A cool little town, my part of the world. Our one version, the outside thinking version, says, okay, I'm just going to pack like I would normally pack, considering slightly that, Aspen's high in the Rocky Mountains, and it's winter in the northern hemisphere. It might be snow, right? So very, very shallow thinking. And then the other version of you goes deeper when I say, hey, let's go to Aspen. And they're saying, okay, so I'm in Aspen. What do I need? Well, in my mind, I'm walking around the pictures of the house Jason sent me. And I wonder if those floors are also carpet in the bedroom, or if that tile goes further. So you know what? I better pack my house shoes. I don't like my feet being cold. As I'm here in Aspen, I'm frolicking in the snow. I better go buy some gloves. Prepare for that. You see, from being in a situation, our mind can see further forward because we've moved forward in time and space with our consciousness. Think of it like a flashlight. Okay? When you have a flashlight, you only have a short range of vision in front of you as you hold it forward. But in this situation, with our mind, we can float our flashlight 10, 30, 40, 100 feet in front of us, and then we can see that space that's ahead of that reality and that current spot with the light. And again, this light is what we call consciousness. So as a trader, here are 3 things that I'm pretty sure you will have dialed in when you are at the peak of your trading. And again, these are 3 things I'm, coming up with you that work for me. But if you just ask yourself, what are things like as a successful trader? You're going to see areas where you're like, oh, I would do this differently. I would start doing this. I would stop doing that. And those are the areas that you should take action on as you're merging into this higher version of yourself. So I've created 3 things that I'm pretty sure you will have dialed in when you're at the peak of your trading. And these are things that are, they're there not because you're rigid, on creating these aspects, right? Which I am. And I get that. But it's not that. It's that you are trading the best you ever have. You've experienced, and you have experienced, you're battle tested. So that version of you isn't being anal about these little things. Don't think about it like that. These are things that you just have enough experience to know what works for you in that area because you've done it so many times, right? That's the place we have to grow into. That's where our growth opportunity is. When it comes to adding energy to both the chicken and the egg side of our trading, this is where we start. So I've created a few things that likely will be in order based on your experience when you're successful. And this gives us places to look for improving ourselves and becoming more of the successful version of ourselves. And the first is using your routine as a catalyst. And a few bullet points here. One, day trading practices create neurological pathways. So it's very important that you have clarity on the actions that you should be taking for your entry, your in-trade management, and your exit, and you're routinely doing it the exact same way. Perfect practice makes permanent, right? But practice doesn't make perfect, right? So I think I said that the way. However you practice is what you're locking in into neural pathways. Now, consistent actions reprogram subconscious beliefs, right? If you're doing something every day, it's going to shape what you believe about that action. And then discipline becomes a fundamental character trait, right? It's not about just being a disciplined trader. It's about being a disciplined person. So you accomplish this by setting standards in this area. Think about this. No way is you've been trading for, let's say, 25 years and you don't know the best way to start your day. No way, right? You're a veteran. So now, today, you should lock in your pre-trade routine. A trading routine that indicates that it includes your trading, right? The logging of your trading in an organized way. Maybe now you trade, then just when you remember, you write stuff down. But then in the future, you know what works best for you. So after a trade, maybe after 3 trades, you write things down. You need to find what works for you. And you need to be locked and solidified in these micro things, because then your mind can take the energy off of it. The mental capital that's wasted on making decisions that should be routine is returned to you, used in a more empowering way. The point is not to be fiddling with these things, right? Simplify your trading business. So think about it like this. Imagine, give me 1 second. Let me take a sip of coffee here. That's great. So imagine, I want you to think about it like this. Imagine you tuned into the show and I was interviewing a guy and I was like, okay, Mr. Trading Guru, tell us about how you start your day. And their response was, well, after 25 years of trading and making millions of dollars, I'm not sure how I start my day. Wouldn't you think that was weird? Like, you would say, how could they be that successful? And they don't even know the first thing they do to start their day. You know, I remember watching the most recent campaign trails here in America as we had a presidential election, and there was a question at a debate where they asked a candidate, this was early in the process, they asked the candidate, what would you do on your first day? And the candidate didn't really know. And everyone, you know, from the feedback I was seeing was like, oh, that's weird. It's day one. So this is one of the areas where you definitely would have it solidified if you were successful, right? So you need to start working on getting routine around your trading. Ponder the question and of, you know, what would it feel like to be successful? Ponder that question and not the feeling right now. We'll come back to that. But you may see more things to add to this list to move you toward being a great trader, so you have the actions and the results of a great trader. Now, no matter what your perspective on this exercise is, if you do it, you can't say afterwards, no way, that you aren't closer to being that successful version of you. If you do this correctly, there's just no way. There's no way to not grow from an exercise like this. And that's motivating for me. I want to be the trader that gets the results that I seek. So as I work on getting those results, I work on being the person that produces those results. We have to work on both sides. Again, you create this for yourself. Customize it. For me, I meditate in the morning religiously. I heard a trader the other day, I was watching a video on YouTube. They said they didn't meditate in the morning because they weren't superstitious. Now, it's one of the wildest things I've ever heard in my life. But I didn't judge it, right? It's his routine. The guy said, I brush my teeth and I head to the charts. I can't knock that, right? So you're creating what works for you. You're looking into the future and saying, when I'm successful, what am I doing? And I need to start moving closer to taking those actions today. There's no need to wait. There's no need to be held by mental hurdles that you can see past. We all have a certain place where it's just dark. Our flashlight of consciousness gives us nothing else. But a lot of times we aren't there. We're just holding back. So push yourself to the edge of what you can possibly conceive, because that's going to give you the positioning to see further into your future and to have more clarity on your goals. And that consciousness lights up that path, is a pre-paving of the path. It's a priming of the path, and it makes things smoother. And I've learned that lesson, not just from trading, but from many aspects of goal seeking, about priming the path with the right mental work that empowers the action that you're going to take when it gets down to the action steps. Action steps. The next thing, this is number 2, right? Number 1 was the routine. Number 2 is goal clarity. This is kind of woven throughout all this conversation, but it's developing a clear, vivid mental image of success using things like visualizing techniques to align our subconscious with our conscious goals. And then creating an emotional connection to the desired future state. And it doesn't have to be a heightened emotional state, just a normalized emotional state. And I'll talk more about that in a second here. But targets are a huge gift to the mind. Goals are a huge gift to our mind. We have, exhausted the conversation on this show about the adverse effects of ambiguity on the human brain. So I'm not going to go down that path again, but the actions without clarity behind them are obviously not as powerful. What are you trading for? What is the biggest outcome you can imagine? How far can you float your flashlight, your consciousness, into the reality of your goals, thinking from that place? When this large overarching goal is clear, then you can set milestones on that path, checkpoints. And then you can have clear actions that move you directly in that direction towards these checkpoints. And this was huge for me. And one of the things that boosted my consistency greatly is, think about this. 2 traders, right? One has no goals. So they're just trading to make money. And yes, they are focused on the process of their trading, but the process is floating with no goal to anchor it down, thus changing how the process looks in different backgrounds, right? So imagine a balloon floating, blue balloon, and you see it against the sky and it's like, oh man, it's unclear. I can't really tell. Then you see that blue balloon float next to a building and you're like, oh yeah, there it is, stands out. So even traders who think they're just focusing on the process and moving forward, when the process is floating and not anchored to goals, not anchored to an end result, it's not as powerful. I'm not saying it's not powerful. It's not as powerful. Does that make sense? When this larger overarching goal goes, again, does two things. So the second thing, right, because I talked about being able to focus on the process, right? Kind of lost myself there for a second. But the second thing, let me just do this second example. First one, focused on the process, but their process is floating, right? So powerful, not as powerful. More powerful than not focused on the process, maybe just wanting to make money, but not as powerful as, let's say, another trader is at $100 profit, and they could take another trade with process in mind, of course. But is that what's needed? See, that small area of lacking is where traders give back profit. They make P&L mistakes. So first trader, $100, should I take another trade? Who knows? Let's say the second trader knows they need has the goal of $1,000 per month, right? Which is tied to their 3-month, 6-month, yearly goal. And so the math says they're trading 20 days that month. They need 1K. So they need about $50 a day. So at that point, they're looking at this $100 profit and they're saying, I'm going to, I'm going to take this and get out of the market, right? I'm going to limit my capital exposure to the market. I'm up 4 days already. So the trading successful version of you has targets and clarity per trade per day. And even if it's a clarity on a non-goal, right? I've heard traders say, I stop when, I stop feeling a certain way. And I think that's intangible, but it's clarity on at least where to stop. And that's important. Again, I'm not suggesting what you do in these situations. I'm just saying you need to know what you're going to do in these situations, and it needs to be related to how to reaching your goals, and the actions have to tie it all in. It should not be random. For me, the advice of focus on the process, it wasn't making sense in a vacuum. Now, it's been a long time, but I still am shaped by just the mindset of an athlete, in which there's always a process, but that process is always focused on a bigger picture, right? So me personally, maybe you can relate to this. I need to corral in my actions to some form of finiteness. FOMO reduced, over trading, all dropped drastically when I was following a bigger guiding plan. If I didn't do this, I couldn't see potential mistakes until they happened, right? Because there was no clarity on where the line was. And then I'd be like, damn, I shouldn't have done that. But when I had daily actions strongly tied to bigger goals, I could see more of those steps off a cliff. I could say, you know what, is this worth it? How much is this decision getting me closer to my goal versus just risking going down from my goal and the emotions, the feelings, and things that come with that? Yeah, you know what? Probably don't need this trade. Even if this trade is following my process, there's other risk I'm worried about. So take this profit and go. But again, clarity there is going to give you what you need to do for you. Now, number 3 is a feeling of fulfillment. I am pretty sure when you are at your most successful level of trading, you're going to feel pretty good about trading. So training the mind to embody the emotional state of achievement is key. Practicing gratitude and acting as if the goal is already realized, and leveraging psychological techniques to reduce resistance and increase flow are going to be the key factors for number 3. And this is where we think from the place of accomplishment and we just dwell in that feeling. The idea is to get the body out of rejecting that reality. And it's the body and the mind, but I say body because it's more of the subconscious memory. Now, right now, when you have your trading goals, you might have some pushback in your mind, right? Your mind may try to sling you back into the current reality while you try to dream big and dream bigger than your current circumstances, but those circumstances are in your face. And then the problem is you act accordingly. I won't say the problem, but the fact is we act accordingly to our state of being. So if our mind is stuck in a lack of results, our actions are of that person and our results will be of that mindset and that person. Chicken and egg is the conversation today, right? So how can you expect to take successful trader actions if you don't feel successful? How can you expect to take the actions of a successful trader and get the results of a successful trader if you don't feel like the successful trader? If your process has ambiguity, things that you know you would not have when you're successful. Now, some of these things are in our blind spot, but by pondering this, there are things that illuminate themselves and we need to work on them. So ponder the feeling of your wishes being already fulfilled. If you trade from that energy, your results will reflect that more than not doing it. And these types of scenes, when we're thinking about being successful, they are empowered by adding a person to the practice. For example, imagine you're talking on the phone, right? And you're saying, yeah, I just hit my goal 10 months in a row. Or, hey, friend, hey, look at this, man. Look at my bank balance. I want to celebrate tonight, right? Just little moments like that. Think about how much is assumed in that moment, but how simple it is, right? If you're having a friend look at your bank balance, seeing their reaction like, wow, you're saying let's celebrate tonight. That encompasses a lot in that one scene. It means that you've reached your goal. Your bank balance is at your desired amount. You've eliminated silly mistakes. You have clarity in so many areas. You feel successful, right? So with the law of assumption, we can assume a position in space and time, and all of those assumptions will come with it. And all we have to do is practice filling our way into that assumption. And just walk around in that world with the goal of increasing comfort with that reality of actually that reality being a potential possibility. And you can, lean towards greater things, bigger and better results. You're not stuck here, but at the baseline, you need to feel okay being the receiver of your goals, having your goals, a deepening on your personal blueprint. Now, this can be challenging, but if you keep practicing that feeling, going to that place, saying, oh, this is already accomplished, well in the future, not the moment it's accomplished, I feel like it's already accomplished. And it's just a mental exercise, not tied to the actions just yet. It's the state we need to be in when we're taking actions. Now, Neville Goddard says that the determining factor in manifesting a result is when it's normalized. When we feel it into a real state. So you want to keep practicing that feeling. There's two reasons it's very, very important, right? One for the Neville, but from my personal experience, when I feel like the results are normal to me, they're usually very close, right? And that's what I've seen from my experience, my journals. You have to normalize that goal, take it off of the goal pedestal and accept it as your now reality. And then take action from that reality. And the second reason is huge, again, is the chicken and the egg, right? That's this episode. When you feel accomplished, you're going to be more aligned in your trading action and less likely to self-sabotage or self-destruct. So when we take action in these three areas, the repeated exposure to the new mental frameworks will gradually rewire neural networks and allow us to be supported in three key areas, right? Three areas that hinder a lot of traders. Number one is overcoming fear and limiting beliefs, right? There's no fear to overcome when you are a successful trader. Developing emotional resilience, and also creating a successful or a success-oriented mindset. All of those are easier when you spend time working on both sides of the chicken and egg paradox. By focusing on, these transformational elements, you offer yourself a holistic approach to personal development through day trading. So in closing, the key to trading success lies in balancing both perspectives. Instead of solely focusing on actions and the results, which is laying the eggs, traders should also embody the qualities of successful traders, being the chicken. There is so much to be done outside of the charts. A lot of things need to be customized, and you have to invest in them for them to work for you. But if you're serious about your trading goals, you'll embrace anything you can to do, or anything you can daily to move the needle. And when we work on both the chicken and the egg side, which is cultivating a mindset of success and little ambiguity, decreasing ambiguity, then taking action from this place and logging the results so the cycle is empowered, that's what we need to be doing. By nurturing both the chicken trader mindset and the egg, the data and the results, day traders can create a self-propelled cycle of improvement and achievement. So let's chat again next week. Have a wonderful trading week. Hope this was helpful. And here's to being the hero of your story. Thank you for joining me on this episode of the Trading Ascension Podcast. I hope you found valuable insights to help you on your day trading journey. If you enjoyed today's episode, please subscribe to the podcast and leave a review. Your support by subscribing and leaving reviews helps me reach more traders like you and continue to provide this valuable content. Don't forget to head over to the tradingascension.com website for free resources, more tips, and exclusive content. If you can't wait till the next show, check out some of the previous episodes. They're great. But do join me on the next episode. And until then, keep ascending, stay mindful, and remember, your journey to mastering trading psychology for consistent profits starts with your willingness to embrace personal growth.